I have tried filming this on 4 different occasions. I hope the 5th time will be successful. Today is July 31st. I came back from a trip from Japan that I took between July 3rd and 13th, and then I got sick. So this filming, video editing, video posting is happening much later than I initially wanted, but that's okay. I'm very excited to flip through this because this was the first time I successfully travel journaled when I purchased this Tokyo Station traveler's notebook and charm at the start of my trip. So I got to basically journal through this insert throughout my entire stay, which was a very fun experience. I will say, now that I've filled up a whole journal, I'm very attached and sentimental to this chunky book. I stamped a bunch of pages between the Tokyo Station and Nakameguro locations. The first day I arrived pretty late at around 7:30 at Narita Airport. And so I just had 4 goals once my plane touched the ground, which was get through customs and immigration. Not that I foresaw anything stressful or bad happening, but it was still a process to get through. 2, get money from the ATM. 3, buy my Keisei Skyliner ticket. 4, load money onto a Suica card. Because from the Keisei Skyliner final station at Ueno, I needed to transfer to the Ginza line to make it to my hotel. The next day I'd woken up pretty early because of jet lag at around 6:20 in the morning, so I got breakfast with a breakfast voucher, and then headed out to find the Tokyo Station Travelers Company location. I headed out pretty early at around 8:20, and I thought to myself, why on earth did you allocate 2 hours to finding this one store? Because it didn't open until something like 10 or 10:30. But it was a good thing I did, because I read the address wrong, and I spent entirely too much time on the ground floor searching for Traveler's Factory when it was on floor B1. And I would have known that if I just read the address correctly the first time. This is a photo of one of the displays that they had at the store. And I picked up 2 rolls of the limited edition, or I guess not limited edition, but the Tokyo Station Limited train line washi tapes, because I love the design so much. And I wanted to have enough to feel like I could abundantly share with the people in my life. After visiting Traveler's Factory, I stopped by Ancora. I found out about Ancora as a shop in late April of this year, and when I visited their Instagram page for the first time, I saw their newest release was their 4th anniversary pen. I fell in love with that pen on site, so much that I actually entertained the idea of buying it through a reseller, like a pen reseller on Instagram, but the resellers that I'd seen only had medium fine available, and my favorite size is fine. So I just didn't want to spend that much money on a pen with a nib size that I wasn't super excited about. So I went to the store in person just to see if they had any left, and not only did they have the pen in stock, they also had it in size fine, which was really exciting for me. I was just so happy and jazzed that they had it. I also picked up a Sailor Yurameku ink while I was there. Sailor Yurameku Amamoyoi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was really cool getting to see all of the, multi-shading inks together swatched in person. I think when I tried to pick out an ink from this line before to purchase online in the States, I never could decide which one I wanted because all of the inks looked different in different pictures, which makes sense given that the inks are multi-shading. I also bought a Ancora pen to give to my boyfriend's brother. He had taken his own trip to Japan last year and made his own pen at Ancora, and then the cap had broken. I wanted to buy a replacement cap for him, but the staff said that they couldn't sell me parts a la carte. I had to buy a whole pen. So I got him a replacement pen, I guess. After this, I was feeling pretty hungry. I had not eaten yet. I think I'd gone around a few more stores too, like Le Labo, to smell some perfume, but I went back to the hotel, had a quick konbini lunch of like 2 or 3 onigiri. My appetite was very suppressed those first couple of days, I think because of the heat. And then I headed out to see Itoya. I probably spent 2 to 3 hours at Itoya amongst the 9 floors of stationery there. I had such a good time. I bought this book there. This is on the 5th floor. I just love the colors inside of it. I've had so much fun just flipping through it since I've gotten back. I've looked through it several times, and I will continue to look at it more. Forever, probably, I think. I bought some gifts for some family members and friends there too. I also went to GC Press, I guess, while I was near Ancora to buy some little things for family and friends and myself. I bought myself stickers, which I've already started using, as you can see. But I also got my mom some periwinkle envelopes. These are her favorite color. And some cards, some embossed cards to go inside them because she likes to write notes to people. After Itoya, I dropped all of my things off at the hotel, and then I headed out to Shibuya because the other big thing I wanted to do a lot of shopping for was skincare and fragrance. I went to Dorsey and Shiro before I went to Cosme. I just didn't buy anything because I wanted to see Cosme first, but I really did like their fragrance at Dorsey that was made, I guess, for their Tokyo location, or with their Tokyo location in mind. And I really liked Frisia Mist by Shiro, which they also said was like their bestseller. A lot of fragrances in the US are lean pretty gourmand, and gourmands just aren't my favorite. So smelling the perfumes there was so much fun. I don't think I've ever run into like so many perfumes that I liked. I picked up some cards for some perfumes that I liked. I didn't even get to smell everything. And I bought a couple fragrances. They were from a brand called Liber. I got Campus Picnic, which I haven't opened yet. And I got Tislo, which I have. If you like Le Labo's Thé Noir, but Le Labo is just too much money for you to be spending on a perfume, try Tislo. It's a very nice black tea fragrance, and I think this is about 33 USD, and this is a 30 milliliter bottle. That being said, I don't know where you can find this in the US, and a ticket to Japan is probably more expensive than a bottle of Thé Noir, but if you happen to be in Tokyo, this is there, and I think it smells pretty similar. The black tea is done very well. It doesn't smell screechy at all. That constitutes, I think we have one more day of shopping, and then the rest of the pages will go pretty quickly because we were wandering most of the time. Then that evening, I met my boyfriend Calvin in Ueno to give him his physical speaker card that I picked up for both of us. And then we had a $9 Yoshinoya bowl split between the two of us because he wasn't super hungry and neither was I. That had 8 pieces of beef tongue in it, and it was quite tasty. Where in the US? Never. So the next day was Calvin's first full day, and we went to Asakusa and Ginza. When we went to Asakusa in the morning, we stopped by Hoshino Coffee first, then we went through the Sensoji Temple, got a bad fortune, left it there as instructed. We visited Uniqlo, the Bandai Namco Gachapon store, and Don Quixote there. We dropped all of our things off and rested our feet at our hotel before going through the rest of Ginza. We went back to Itoya so Calvin could see the 9 floors of stationery, and then we actually went through all 12 floors and then saw a indoor hydroponic setup that they also have in the building. We saw the Aquatic Art Museum, and then we saw Tsutaya Books, which is a very large bookstore. There I got a lot of things, but I will only discuss these 3. This is by Kathy Lamb. I saw this cat, and I knew this cat needed to come home with me. I have not opened the book yet, but I did get to browse through it while I was in the store. We also got this compilation of work from different artists about teeny little worlds. I love the concept of storefronts that kind of show you a window into some world building. I love the color palettes and just the collection of artists' work. The other book we got there, Houses with a Story, it's kind of a similar concept. I also did not open this yet since we've returned, but we also got to browse through it in the store. These are books that I'd seen online in the States for sale, but because I couldn't flip through them, I had no idea if I was going to like them. I also got this washi tape by Kathy Lamb there. Yeah, this was our ticket from the Aquatic Art Museum. These are stamps from Travelers Company. This is from the washi tape. The next day, we had breakfast in Tsukiji. I really liked the vibes of Tsukiji, at least in the morning when we went. We went to Turret Coffee, which was really good. There's so much good coffee in Japan. And then we spent most of our day at Design Festa. We didn't know what we were getting into when we said we wanted to go to Design Festa. Calvin knew it was in Japan. I looked it up, saw that it was going to coincide with our trip. We decided we'd go. We looked up how and where to get tickets, and online it said you can buy tickets on the day of. We showed up to Design Festa on time when it was supposed to open. Saw swarms of people, and we just looked at each other like, I don't think this is casual. We passed by a sign that I took a picture and translated with Google Translate that said the earliest time you can come to line up to get into Design Festa is 5 a.m. This was not casual. We were waiting in line for about 15 minutes, which was kind of amazing considering how many people were there and the fact that we'd only gotten there on time and people already lining up. Wow, so efficient. AX, what are you doing? While we were in line, I looked up the history of Design Festa, and that's when I found out there are thousands of vendors and thousands of attendees. We had a good time. It was just much bigger than we realized. This was our ticket. I saved a lot of business cards. This was a really cute business card. I bought a pack of stickers from an artist. This is one of them. I saw a lot of original art. It was a ton of fun. This was a stamp that one of the makers was selling and offered me to try stamping, and I could keep the stamp. It's so detailed, but the stamp came out so clean too. Here's another business card. These stickers we got from a maker at Design Festa. These are some other business cards I saved. we basically went around collecting business cards like Pokemon, so we could go back and follow all of the artists when we were done with Design Festo. We also went to Gundam Base in Diversity. At the Ghibli store there, I bought this card holder to hold my Suica card. We came back KO'd at like 9 after wandering around the mall and getting to come in there, which was very tasty. The next day we went to Swamp Coffee. Smoothest latte of my life. It was great. We went to the Tokyo Metropolitan Building in Shinjuku in the morning, and then we went to Don Quixote in Kabukicho. We went to Kabukicho so Calvin could kind of see how the skyline lined up with what he'd seen recreated in the Yakuza games, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time there. Then we took a bus to Harajuku and got to see all the clothing stores there with the different styles available, and then we went to lunch, got really crispy, delicious chive dumplings in Shibuya, and then walked around some shops like Nico and we didn't end up seeing anything that we liked there, but it was a very interesting vibe, which was like hipster but also borrowing a lot of the camping aesthetic, or camping imagery, I should say. Our feet started to hurt, so I got the opportunity to sit in cafe journal for like an hour or so. That's when I caught up in my travel journal. After that, we were going to head to Pop Mart because someone asked us to get Pop Mart, and then I'll put a photo up, but that was the line at Pop Mart. We just thought, so sorry, nobody is getting Labubu from us. Then we walked south again to Miyashita Park, or I guess we never actually ended up making it to the rooftop garden, but we got to see all of the novelty stores inside, and there were more perfume shops with like niche perfume I never thought I was ever gonna smell in real life, so it was really special for me to get to smell that. And then we went to Tower Records. Tower Records was so much fun. They have so many displays, and they have headphones available for you to listen to the CDs. After Tower Records, we went to Torahebi Coffee. It was very expensive, but they gave us samples, and it was delicious, and I enjoyed it. I got one that basically smelled like lychee. Calvin got one that smelled like, I think he picked one that was like apples. They gave us 2 samples. One smelled like melon, one smelled like strawberry. And then they all tasted adjacent to those fruits too. Then we had a very delicious dinner. Then we went to Muji and stopped by, I don't know what it was called, but it was just a store that had like little booths of, the receipt said banana fish. Oh, there's a stain on here, but this is the art book that I picked up while I was there. I just love how this artist used color. Everything felt really happy and a little bit soothing too at the same time, and also fun. So I picked up their art book. Then we hit the Shibuya Scramble Crossing, which was very overwhelming. Glad I did it, never want to do it again. And saw the Hachiko statue, and then headed back to our hotel. Is this all from that day? Oh wow, it was. Yeah, this is all from just that one day. The next day, we went to Tokyo Station for coffee, found Rokume Coffee, got lost trying to find Rokume Coffee. The coffee shop is very deep, so even though it was right near like a main hallway where people were getting on and off and coming in and out of the station, the depth of the store kind of kept a lot of that noise out, which was really interesting. It was really hot this day and really muggy, so we spent the morning at the Tokyo National Museum where we rested, saw a Japanism exhibit. That's how they pronounced it. All these stamps came from the museum. This is my Rokume coffee receipt. And yeah, we had a good time there at the museum for several hours. And then for lunch at around 1:30, we had a late lunch at like a kaiseki restaurant. It was really tasty. Kaiseki is like haute cuisine, but it was at a like accessible price point. We took our shoes off going into the restaurant, and we had a really nice view of just the trees. So it was a very nice lunch that we had. We were feeling really tired though because of the heat, so after lunch we just rested at the hotel again before heading out to Akihabara at night. We didn't really buy anything in Akihabara, but we wanted to see and get the feeling for Electric Town. And we had some really delicious okonomiyaki for dinner that day. This was our okonomiyaki receipt. The next day, we went to the Imperial Palace grounds. This stamp was from one of their visitor centers, and we got a bunch of mosquito bites while we were there, but it was really pretty to walk around. After seeing the grounds, we went to Sumida and went to a coffee shop called Machinesti Coffee. Then we went to the Hokusai Museum, where I guess at the end of the museum, if you fill out a survey about how you thought about the museum, they give you a sticker. So this is my sticker from the Hokusai Museum. And then we went to the Tokyo Skytree Mall and wandered and browsed around before and after seeing the Tokyo Skytree. So they had like a Detective Conan exhibit or stamp rally at the Tokyo Skytree. I think there were 4 stamps and I missed one, but I didn't really care enough to go hunt it down. This stamp, the really faded one that kind of looks like it's bleeding from the other side, but it's not on the other side, that was actually from a train station on our way back. This stamp is a stamp that I bought at the Hokusai Museum. This was our ticket to the Skytree. This is also from the Hokusai Museum. I think I tore it out from like a free pamphlet that they gave us. And this was our sukiyaki place for dinner. I didn't do a great job, but I tried to like tear off from the washi tape the relevant train lines that we'd taken that day, or were at least near us that day. On day 8, we went to Glitch Coffee in Ginza. These were the little cards that we got for the coffees that we'd selected. That was a really fun piece of ephemera to get to paste in my journal. I will say, we got to Glitch Coffee right when it opened, and we waited 15 minutes because other people had gotten there first. The store is a little small, and they do kind of walk each person and guest through the process of selecting a coffee, and so maybe that's why it takes so long. If you want to go and you don't want to wait in line, maybe go to the Ikebukuro location, which I've heard does not have a line. But we had our coffee, it was delicious. Then we went to go see the Parasitological Museum in Meguro City, and after that we wandered through Meguro City all the way to Nagameguro, and that's when I got to go to the Travelers Company flagship store, where I got more stamps and bought more things and had more fun. And we also saw the Saito Sakura Museum, which I also have an interlude somewhere. Here we go. This was our pamphlet from there. This is a photo from the Saito Sakura Museum. These two were from the Ueshima Museum, which we also saw that day. The Ueshima Museum was actually closer to Shibuya, I think. So after the Saito Sakura Museum, we took the train to Shibuya. We also made sure to go to Iyoshikola. We'd seen Iyoshikola the first time we went to Shibuya a few days prior, but it wasn't open. It wasn't open that day. They only had their vending machine out front, so we bought a can of Iyoshikola, drank it, and said, okay, we need to go back to Shibuya to actually go get some Iyoshikola. It's like to get more. And we bought a bottle of cola syrup that they had for sale. It's like herbaceous cola. We had dinner at an unagi place in Shibuya, and that's when, and while we were having dinner, it actually started raining really hard. Basically all throughout the night there were thunderstorms, or at least as we were falling asleep, there were thunderstorms. The next day we went to Koto City again, like in Sumida. We had actually planned to go to the aquarium, but when we'd stepped outside, the weather was so good in comparison to the rest of our trip. Like, it wasn't hot. It was overcast, it was cooler, it wasn't muggy. We just decided to skip the aquarium and walk around all day. And I think this was the day that we took the most steps, probably around like 26,000 steps or something like that. We went to Monaka Coffee, which was probably my favorite coffee shop. The vibes at Monaka Coffee were the best, in my opinion. There was a ton of seating, like in a cute little patio out front. It was also a second floor. It had a lot of seating. And then near the front, they had a large board, which was a map of the surrounding area and the streets, and the other small businesses in the area could pin their business cards. After we went to Monaka Coffee, and I also had some time to journal there, we wandered through Sumida, along the Sumida River, and we just talked together, which was really nice. We did that for about an hour and a half before we hit the Kiyosumi Gardens. And then we were in the Kiyosumi Gardens, I want to say, for about 30 to 45 minutes. And we took some photos in the gardens, saw some other photo shoots happening in the garden, and I got stamped there too. Then we had lunch. We had some ramen and curry dumplings. Then we had tea in Tsukishima. We walked all the way there. And then after tea, we took a bus to the Small Worlds Museum, which is like this miniature museum. There were some very elaborate setups there, and a lot of exhibits were a sort of like hide and seek. There were several buttons around that you could press, and it would activate some automated, not quite animatronic, but so it was good for both adults and children. And this origami came from the miniature museum. There were some available for guests to take, so Calvin and I each took one, and I pasted them in here. Then we went to Diversity to see Gundam Base again, because this time we'd gone on a Friday. Fridays after 3 p.m. Are not subject to lottery entry only, so anyone can go and purchase product within the store. And we also went to Pop Mart. I feel like Pop Mart has increased in complexity since I first discovered them in 2022 when I was in Singapore. After that, we got sukiyaki in Ginza, and after that wandered around Ginza and saw the Godzilla statue. So day 10 was our last full day in Japan. We used it to revisit some things that we felt like we missed in Asakusa, and then we finished that faster than expected, so we went back to Ueno before our kimono fitting in Koto City. So we got more specialty coffee at Tabito Coffee. Then we went back around Sensoji Shrine, or the Sensoji Temple, to visit the Hikan Inari Shrine, which had kitsune, or foxes. Then we wandered through Asakusa and ended up wandering all the way to Ueno and stumbled upon a beer festival by a pond, which was covered in lotus flowers, and the flowers smelled good, and there was a bridge with tanabata, I think is the word, and it was really nice to be on that bridge in the pond. Then we went to Don Quixote to pick up a suitcase and luggage tags. Then we went back to our hotel to drop it off before going to Koto City to do our kimono fitting. So the way that works is you can pick a vintage kimono, and then the staff had us put them on and measured us and marked where to cut and tailor. The part of the tailoring process that we were involved in was cutting the kimono and then ironing it and then applying some mending tape. Calvin got to find the characters of his name in kanji, and then they were printed out and then ironed onto the kimono. And then we got to take some photos. We had yakiniku for dinner, which was really tasty. It may have been my favorite meal, maybe my second favorite meal. Top three. This is the Kimono Place's business card. I didn't write a whole lot on this page, just because this day was mostly being at the airport. We took the Skyliner back to the airport, and then we just had the plane ride home. These are some cards from department stores of perfumes that I liked and want to revisit. These were some of the photos I took, and I have yet to caption them still, but I wanted to finish filming this. So that's the flip through of my travel journal. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm going to head off to get on with my evening, have some dinner, but I'll see you again later. Bye.